Let's see. Does this work? I need a few more things here. Perfect. Hello, hello, hello. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing great. Today we have the Dumbphone live stream. It's more general. It's not just about the iPhone 3, but if you have any extra questions about the iPhone 3, I'll be answering those as well. And today we have about an hour, probably an hour and a half max. Just have to do kind of start the week. I was on a work trip, so I get the day off today, but got to go back to the grind. So start preparing for tomorrow. But if you have any questions, start putting them in there in the comments, and we'll go over it. So yeah. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm just shared this in a few extra places. March 2025. And we're trying to do one of these every month. So that's why this one's today, because the light phone one did not necessarily count. It wasn't necessarily for that. But yeah, it's kind of like just some of the stuff that's happening. We're going to talk about a few developments, a few interviews that probably you need to watch, because there are a few things happening in the Dumbphone space that are going to be very good. I think they're going to be actually extremely, extremely helpful. And yeah, we're just kind of go through it, go through whatever it is that you guys have questions about, and all of that good stuff. And then we will talk about a few extra developments with releases, a light phone, a few extra phones coming out. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one today. So hopefully you get to spend some time here. And, we can chat about your questions, about everything that you guys have. Let me open up my timestamps, because the first thing that we're going to go over is the side phone development. So there is a new phone coming out. Let's see, 2 minutes. 02 side phone discussion. So there is this new device coming out. They're kind of like in the works right now. Let me make sure that this is on the correct thing. Yep, there it is. Perfect. And let's get to it. So let's go to my Zen browser instance right here. Side phone. So this is the concept. Let me make sure that's showing. Yep, perfect. So the side phone is a phone that is releasing soon. It has 4G LTE Wi-Fi, USB Type-C, removable battery, 5-megapixel camera. And essentially the idea is this is running Android, and it's going to have a limited section of tools, essentially pretty much what most people ask for. So that is phone, messages, camera, Spotify, WhatsApp, Uber. I don't know how well it's going to run it, but it's kind of like something that is quite interesting. Here are the tech specs. So 3 gigs, 32 gigs, which is pretty decent when it comes to RAM and ROM storage, but it does also the micro SD. And of course, because it's a little bit of more an inexpensive device, they are including as many features as possible in what is already allotted for them. But there was an interview on a YouTube channel called Returning Retro. Shout out to Returning Retro if you watch this eventually. But he had a discussion, and it's about a 2-hour podcast, essentially going over, hey, what is the side phone? How does it work? What's happening? And go check out his resources, of course. Here, let me... But Returning Retro did this interview. So if you want to check it out with the founders, with the people working on this, one of them is actually the guy from Ghost Phone. So, there's a lot of expertise kind of generating on this. And I'm kind of like really excited to see how it's going to pan out. But it's one of the projects that I've been following and I've been in contact with. But essentially, if you have any questions about this device, the side phone, which is essentially, from what I'm able to look here, right here, it's very similar to a Chin F22. So let's go to the Chin F22 with some minor modifications. So as you see right there, Chin F22, AliExpress, of course, you can get it right there. Cancel. So the Chin F22 is kind of like this device. Let me open. Let's see if I can open this. I can't. Okay, that's okay. So Chin F22, kind of like squarish device. And when you look at the side phone, it kind of has that similar dimensions. So I assume they're working with similar manufacturers as that device. And I'm kind of like, yeah, really excited to see, number one, the price point that they come up with. I think they're trying to make it happen under $100. So that is going to be helpful, especially with this array of apps. So it has quite the diverse apps. And that is something that is hopefully going to be developed. So go check it out. I'm going to put a link in the comments here in the chat. So if you have, and again, if you have any questions, make sure to put them there right now so we can get to it. Side phone right there. Let me open this chat in my other window. Give me a second so that it's not interrupting. Yeah, so go check it out. I think it's a worthy project. I think it's going to be a little bit better over time. It's going to get, a little bit easier to use, but it's one of those projects that I'm keeping tabs on, and I think is going to provide that wide compatibility for different apps that most people need or want in their lives, and also a form factor that is more user-friendly, right? And of course, price. It's more accessible to more people. I think the only thing will be compatibility around the world. Probably that will be the main thing. Network, it just says OEM unlocked, but probably there's still not a lot of details in regards to how many bands it's going to have and how it's going to work. And this was updated, latest update was on January 2025. So there you go. That is the side phone. I think it's Chaim or Chaim. Davis says, thanks for all your content. I heard your most recent video about the iPhone 3. Can you share any more inside information about delays behind supporting WhatsApp and when can we expect it? Yeah, good question. Let's go to discussion of iPhone 3. That's perfect. Let's go into 7 minutes. So 7 minutes. 007, 20 seconds probably. iPhone 3 extras. So as you may know, the iPhone 3 team is trying to develop something helpful, which is access to WhatsApp. And to a degree. So the way that they're trying to do it is via Beeper. So Beeper is a service that allows you to kind of like bring everything together, all of these different networks, right? Like chat networks like Discord, Messenger, Slack, etc., into all of one app. This works really well on, let's look up right here. What's it called? Beeper demo. Beeper app demo. And essentially, let's see if this guy shows it up. I'm gonna cancel. So there it is. So as you see right there, you have all of your apps on desktop and also on your phone. This is on a smartphone, of course, like, they're trying to figure it out. But essentially you have all the chats you can get with your friends and use it pretty easily. You can connect multiple networks, Google Chat, Messenger, WhatsApp, etc., etc. And as you are connecting them, you also have the ability to, kind of like some extra features. So LinkedIn right there, he's getting all of his information kind of back and forth and having some of those extra things. So they're trying to develop this app within the iPhone ecosystem. Now, as you know, the iPhone 3 right here does not have that yet. So you can only text via phone and kind of like, having the ability to kind of like talk about, like you have text message, SMS, or group text message. Here, I'll go into my text with my mom. So right there, as you see, I've been texting my mom. Good son. And you're able to text and maybe add a picture or two, of the things that you're doing in life. But that's about it. Like, you don't have access to any extra things as of now. So there's no internet compatibility, WhatsApp. You do have voice to text, and it does work relatively well, of course, but it's, not the only experience that you're going to be having with the light phone. So here's the idea. The idea is to bring this next compatibility of the beeper to having it on the light phone, but it's not going to come anytime soon. So I don't expect it to be happening this year. I think if it happens, is next year. So a few months ago, let me go to LinkedIn. I believe there was a Kaiway. There it is, Kaiway. Posted something. Oh, that's nice. Thanks for reposting, Kai. I appreciate that. So there is a mention. He had a mention of beeper a few days or a few times ago, like some days ago. Let me try to find it. Okay, let's see. And let's go. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that he has shared about this phone. But in one of these posts, he went over essentially, hey, we are testing or trying to develop something like beeper, right? So maybe prototyping, mini documentary. Yeah, it was a few months ago. So, I'm just trying to kind of, there's so many things, shared about the phone. So, there's a lot of stuff. But in one of these things, he talked about, hey, we are developing some sort of beeper integration, some sort of kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to find it, and that's okay. That's fine. Let's see. Let's do one more thing. I think one of the most unique aspects. Yeah, I won't be able to find it, but that's okay. I'll try to find it next time. But yeah, so essentially Kai mentioned that there is a possibility that they're developing this. I know Eric, I don't remember his last name, Pebble founder, Migikovsky, does Migikovsky beeper light phone. Yes, there it is. So at some point in time, he texted this on X. And as you see, it is on the light phone 2, a kind of like overhaul of beeper and how it works on the light phone 2. And he, hacked it, accessed the Android layer, and that kind of stuff. But essentially, I think they're kind of like friends, right? So they're like looking into it and hoping to make sure that, you are able to make it work. But it needs to also align with the operating system. So as you know, the operating system of the light phone is very intentional. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So the light phone operating system is very intentional and very decently designed, right? So like it's very minimalistic and, that kind of stuff. So they're probably trying to gear towards that ethos with the beeper tool. So that's probably why they have not released it. And I think that is the way in which, they're trying to make sure that it, coincides with the same design language. So building a custom tool is going to take a few months at the very least, if not until next year. So there you go. Jason says they mentioned the light phone's battery on the side phone's website for comparison. Oh, okay. Where is that? Let's try to see it. By limiting a smartphone to use 2 hours per day. I don't like the fonts or the color. I think this could pop up a little bit more. I know the minimal aesthetic, but it's kind of not readable. Escape the matrix. Side phone costs $129. Okay, so that's their target, retail. Battery life. There it is. Our phone comes with 1800 replaceable battery. Replacing the battery takes 5 seconds. The phone can be charged. Side phone has enough battery to last 8 days between charges, of course, depending on usage. For comparison, Light phone has 900 milliamp batteries. The iPhone 2, Light phone 3 has the same. So yeah, that's good. A side phone, kind of like phone. It just depends on what you're using it. I doubt that if you use maps all the time, it's going to last 8 days, but we're going to have to put it through the ringer. And I mean, of course, standby lasting about a week, I think it's excellent, instead of here, I'll show you where it says that. So here, battery life, 1800 milliamps, which I think is very decent. And it's good to think like, hey, what are you trying to do? And, here it kind of goes through different use cases, right? Conversation starter, work study, day-to-day, adventure. I think the number of apps, they have studied the market, of course, and hey, these are the core apps that most people ask for, and I think that's a good thing. So I hope to see that this comes to market. And again, there is a interview, like I said, from Returning Retro. I'm going to link it to you guys. And Returning Retro, doing a good job. He's doing his, talking about, this kind of stuff, niche stuff, and that kind of stuff. Let me link it to you guys. Live chat. Boom, right there. Okay, let's continue with next topic. Jaime says, also on the iPhone 3, you notice how does that work technically speaking? Is there some separate screen like TCL Next Paper? Yeah, so you were talking about this, right? So whenever we go to the camera, it all of a sudden turns into color, right? So there is nothing that the screen is doing specifically. So we kind of go on the Light phone, right? I'll continue on the Light phone Rift here. And so there is no separate screen technology happening here. This is just OLED. The way that they did is they just customized all of the Light phone apps and pretty much everything except the camera to be in black and white so that it's easier to use. So let me put something here on the directions. Denver. I'm just going to Denver. Come on. And then we're going to go to Littleton Co. All right, so yeah, so here is the kind of like the mode. Let's do public transit. So right there, as you see, everything is monochrome, and it tells you how to get to Denver. So everything this is for public transit. And if it was directions, or like it shows you right there, the directions on how to get to whatever it is that you need. And if you do walking, let's do walking. Denver, Littleton, walking. So if it was walking, it also tells you the same thing, but of course there's different steps, and it tells you, it's going to take 97 minutes to walk those 5 kilometers. So yeah, everything was customized in a way that the phone is black and white, so all of the UI except for the camera. So the camera or the album, here I'll show you a few pictures. I was on the other side of the state, so this is some pictures, right? And it's pretty nice. But everything on the UI and as you see around it is black and white. And that's how they design it, so that, to make sure to kind of like go over some of the information. Here I was in the Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park on the other side of Colorado, and, super cool area. I do have a video that I linked on the Discord. But yeah, you kind of can go and check it out. But yeah, so everything is done in a way to encompass the UI. So they built everything black and white. And then the only things that make sense to be in color is the camera app. Although I would love to see personally a black and white filter to kind of like go with the whole aesthetic of the UI of the phone. That will be good to see. And I know Joe has told me that they have considered that, in the past. So yeah, so those are kind of like some of the things. We'll get to Mudita Kompakt. I do have some new developments, and I have it here. We'll do a comparison as well eventually in the channel, so stay tuned for that, that kind of stuff. And give it a thumbs up if you are enjoying the content, so that other people can find it as well. More iPhone 3 questions, since we're kind of going in a rifting here, is anyone know if June pre-orders are shipping soon? I assume you're saying last June. So if you order last June, and yes, so some people have their pre-order delivered today, actually. So if you go into Lightphone Discord, I'm going to link the Discord if you are kind of into that. And let me see. Let me share. How do I share this? No, that's not edit here. Create invite. There it is. And let's go to unlimited times and copy. Is that how it works? I think so. Okay, let's go here. So so right there, the phone, I sent you the link for the Discord, and you can see that a lot of people have gotten their device today. Not a lot in the Discord, maybe like just a few, like 2 or 3 people have gotten it today, but that is just a sample of Lightphone users that also use Discord, right? And that are into this, like looking into all of the information. So I assume the majority of people are getting theirs sometime this week. You're going to start seeing more and more light phones kind of like going into that direction. And if you haven't received a email, let me tell you that it seems like this is one of those growing pains, right? So I think they have gotten a lot of pre-orders and they're going through all of them as methodically as possible. But I have a friend, his name is his name is David, and he texted me, he sent me a message today, and he was just like, I had to contact them and they already sent my device without giving me the tracking. So, maybe email them and maybe they have already shipped it and you're probably going to get it this week. And I think it's just the system, or check your spam, because that's what happens, right? So a lot of the time, so like sometimes it goes to spam and you need to confirm your address. So if you have confirmed your address, maybe the other thing went to spam. So make sure to be checking all of the different layers of your inbox. So yeah. What about the go back button? Oh yeah. So we talked about this last time. So again, when you are using the go back button, let me go to my mom. So the issue is how you're holding it. So like, when I'm holding it like this, you feel the, kind of like vibration pretty quickly. So as you see right there, but when I'm tapping it like this, it's a little bit more like you may not hit the area that you want, but it's reliable. I mean, I haven't had issues with it. It's been doing pretty fine by all intents and purposes. And of course, like I think I was speaking with Joe, or I heard that they're trying to re-engineer that for maybe a swipe gesture or something like that. And it's going to be easier for future orders, and like, that kind of stuff. Okay. Let's go. Let's see if there's any more questions that you guys have, Lightphone 3 wise. And again, we did a 2-hour Lightphone 3 only live stream, which again, like if you're looking into explicit content for the Lightphone, explicit as in like only Lightphone, I guess, not explicit as in that other kind of explicit content. But if you're looking like explicitly only Lightphone content, make sure to go in there to to the live stream. It was 2 hours, and I am refining the timestamps. So if you want to give me maybe like 2 days until I refine all the timestamps with all the questions, I would appreciate that. Last thing for this right now, and we can come back to iPhone 3, but we're going to go into the next development, is yes, there will be a giveaway for more lemur cases. I have 2 on the go, and I'll be posting it probably on the what's it called? Darn it. On the Reddit. Yes. So stay tuned to the Reddit. I'll probably be posting it in there. Or we'll be trying out some of the giveaway stuff here on this platform that I use, Streamlabs. I never tested it before, so I'm going to have to look into it. But somebody was kind enough to send me that so that we can test it out next time. Okay, perfect. So I will go to the next topic at 25 minutes. That was a good topic for the light phone, and we can come back if there are no extra questions for other devices. 25:30 probably. Mudita Kompakt. Not a lot of you are waiting for this device, and I think it's I think it's a great device. So let's see it. Perfect. Yes. So let me put this away. And then we can go into minimal phone if that's something that you guys want. So the Mudita Kompakt. Let me disable the lock screen so that we can access pretty easily. Swipe up. Yes, remove. That's fine. Okay. So as you see, I have loaded a different launcher, but the Mudita Kompakt is it's pretty fast. It's pretty great. They have been working hard on their development for the different apps, and it just continues to get better and better. One thing that I do like, the low state of charge on the Mudita is killing me. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry. It has good battery life. So let's first go to the website for Mudita. So they are already, let's say, in the Go Mudita Kompakt. So they announced a few days ago, if I recall correctly, that they are almost on the shipping. So, manufacturing progress and shipping update. Campaign closing. It will close midnight, March 31st. So today. And, it kind of is going to probably close with like $500,000 in funding and development. If you're already pledged, please search out support at Mudita. Software finalization, they're on the working for that. Pre-orders are live at Mudita, so you can go to the website directly and get the information. You can pre-order without any issues. And let's go back. The shipping time. Let's see, where is it that they said? Here it is. We remain on track for our planned April delivery for the global version. And of course, I believe it's May delivery for the North American version. So they are almost done. They're in the final stages. They have released software version 1.0. And version 1.1 will be available shortly thereafter. I still have version 0. something. I don't recall which one it is, 0.9. So they have continued to improve even beyond things that I don't have access right away for the device myself. So again, it's just kind of like, so it's kind of like, what is it that you prefer? But the device has been pretty snappy. And of course, one of the let me go back to the default launcher so that you guys can see how it works. I don't know why it's not working. Okay, let's go. Give me a second. System about apps. Launcher. There it is. Give me a second. Launcher. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disable buttons. What is it called? Key mapper. There it is. Key mapper. Let's just disable it. Ah, darn it. Key mapper. Keep editing. Save. Oh, right here. Perfect. Okay, so this is the regular launcher on the Mudita Kompakt, and it's super fast. Like, I mean, they definitely optimize this, and of course, it only comes with basic utilities. So when you're thinking of, hey, do I want the Mudita Kompakt versus do I want the Lightphone 3? It just depends on the, hey, which device do you want for, like, do you want only one device? Do you want the e-ink or OLED? I mean, which one it is. But the refresh rate is pretty good. And then, of course, after that, you can install extra applications by using ADB or extra controls, which is kind of like up to you whether you want to do that or not. As you see, I have, and they look, fine. They don't have any issues working. Here's an example with podcasts, right? So you have podcasts and you have this kind of like availability. You're able to, even though they don't look amazing, it does look good. It does work well enough to kind of like, hey, I can make it work, right? And you can refresh it. It just kind of has that animation. But the idea is, of course, that you use the device as it was intended, which is just, kind of like the basics, right? So you have the idea of like, okay, hey, like music, maps, e-reader, etc., etc. So the Mudita Kompakt is for kind of like those basic utilities plus a few extra things here and there. Let me check this here. Give me 1 second. Just going to clear this up. Delete. Just have a lot of stuff here. Are these all of spams? Yes. So all of these are spam. So you have the text messages right here from the spam, whatever this number was. But yeah, so, and you can text pretty easily. So hello, this, as you see, I'm swiping, but the animation is different. This is Jose, and I don't like spam. I don't like spam, but it still kind of comes to it. And yes, it does have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and, kind of those utilities. So I think what you need to think about is like, okay, which device is going to match the lifestyle that I want to live? So if you need basic utilities plus a few extras like Libby, for example, I use it for audiobooks, and you don't mind the e-ink screen that is going to look a little bit different, right? It's going to look just, like it's not going to be the best thing ever, but it's still going to run it. It's still going to run the app. It's still going to have access to, all of the things that it needs to have. But yeah. And, it's kind of like, here is some of my, book recommendation time. Careless People. I've been waiting for this book to be able to use it. Give me a second. I'll send you guys a link. So I've been waiting for this book for a little while. And you can buy it or get it from the library. And essentially what happened with this book, a little bit of a deviation from the Mudita Kompakt, but what happened with this book, is that essentially a lot of people didn't know about it, and then Meta said like, hey, we don't want this book, and now everybody wants it. So I'm excited that I can get a copy and listen to what's all the rage and why it went from like 0 to like best book in the what's it called, like New York Times and whatnot, right? So other recommendations, Mood Machine. I started reading it, just kind of like the introduction, but now that I have the audiobook, I'll probably go faster. So kind of like some of the things I've been listening at, but this is e-ink for Libby. So if you want extra utilities, right? Music, Pocket Cast, Slack. I just loaded kind of like a wide array of different apps. So it kind of goes with like, hey, do you want only the apps that are available with the device that you use? So just the basics, remove all of this, and like weather, recorder, notes, music, meditation, maps, e-reader, chess, camera, calendar, calculator, alarm, and then phone and SMS. Or do you want more things, right? So do you want extra things that are kind of available on other devices, like WhatsApp, like having the ability to run your favorite application for work, et cetera, et cetera. But yes, I'm kind of excited to see that this releases and to test the final builds. So as of right now, again, I have version, let me check. I have version 0.58. So I'm quite ways away from version 1.0. But if this is how version 1.0 is performing, I have full confidence that version 1.0 will be way better. I'm sorry, if version 0.58, if this is how it's performing, it's going to have, a few extra things. A few of the drawbacks you could say is, for example, the calendar. It doesn't have sync as of right now. I know they were working on it. Maybe version 1.0 will have it. But yeah, it's like, well, what is it that you want in your life? What is it that you are, kind of like looking for? So I think you cannot go wrong with either, as long as you understand what you are, working towards. And yeah, so like, both devices have similar ideas and similar utilities, kind of like working towards the basics. But then if you need to take it even one step further, the Mudita Kompakt can do that, whereas the light phone doesn't have a native way of doing that, because the only way to do it is if you change the whole kind of like vibe of the operating system and just start using it as an Android phone, which requires that you understand how to use advanced Android tools, and some of that stuff, right? But both devices are great. It kind of depends on, do you value e-ink? The responsiveness is pretty good, as you see, but it's not the responsiveness of, like, for example, let's just look at the calendar, right? So calendar, if I want to go to the month view, so let's swipe. Well, not enabled yet, so I have to go there. Here, it is enabled, so it has that more responsiveness, and that kind of stuff. But it works. It works, and you can get stuff. However, in this case, the Mudita has the ability to do, again, a few extra things like installing Beeper, DuckDuckGo, Pocket Cast, extra applications that definitely are not available on the Light Phone 3. Let's see. Questions about the Mudita Kompakt. Which e-ink screen is faster, Mudita or minimal? This is a good question. So it depends. So Mudita only has one system, how can I say it? One refresh rate speed. The minimal phone has multiple ones. So here is the refresh speed on the minimal phone. You can go in this middle one. Oh, there's some requirements for accessibility. That's okay. So, okay. What's going on here? Maybe this one too? Okay. Yes, okay. There you go. So you have 3 refresh speed modes. The slowest one is quite slow, as you see, but it's still fine, still gets the job done. But then you go to the top speed and everything is, super fast. On the Mudita, you only have one refresh rate, so it's just as fast as it will be, but it's still very fast and well optimized because of all of the applications are made with the phone in mind, right? So let's just go to Chrome. Let's maybe do a test on the kind of like, let's do this, let's go to ESPN, right? So ESPN. Let's go here, ESPN. The Mudita has less RAM, so it's definitely different than the minimal phone, but you know, it does have more clarity. So this is the fast mode. And as you see, there is a little bit more contrast on the Mudita Kompakt than on the minimal phone, and that is just because they're using different panels, right? So as you see right here, this one's scrolling way smoother on the fast mode. This one takes a little bit more time, but you have a little bit more clarity. So it kind of depends on what is it that you want, you know, that kind of stuff. What is it that you're looking for? I think they both perform well for their different aspects, but let's just play a video so that you can see, like, okay, well, first let me put the volume down so that we don't get any crazy stuff. So when playing a video, right, the minimal phone will be better than the Mudita Kompakt at displaying that information, which can be a pro, but also it's a con depending on your preferences. Of course. Okay. What's going on? Why didn't... I don't know why, but the sound still came up. Here, let me go to like a podcast app, play. There it is. Cool. I don't know. It did not allow it. Okay, so let's go back. So as you see on the minimal phone, is playing like way smoother than on the Mudita, which again, that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on whether you want to watch videos or not watch videos. And I also think the other reason is because this one has 6 or 8 gigs of RAM, whether this one only has 3, which is way lower, right? But both strong performers. Again, just a matter of like, hey, what is it that you prefer? Which one it is that you want to have on your phone? And you know, do you want to have the possibility of playing video smoothly? As you see, it's pretty nice. But this one has more contrast. As you see, you can barely legibly read this part, whereas this one reads just a little bit better. Different panels, different results, different budgets as well. Mudita is a way larger company than the minimal phone, and so far I'm very impressed actually with how the minimal phone has turned out to be. But yes, so as you see, definitely slower on the Mudita, and it's fine. You can still see everything, but the refresh rate, it's not user controllable. So you cannot control it as a user. Okay, let's continue with more. So hopefully that answers your question, Bauti. There is kind of like the minimal one is faster, less legible. The Mudita is slower, but more legible. And the minimal phone does not have a option. Sorry, the Mudita doesn't have an option for the user to control that. It's kind of just what it comes with. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see. Can you download any app on the Mudita? Right, you can download another browser. Yeah, so you can to a degree. But you have to do it yourself. It's not going to come by default with that functionality. So here I have loaded the Aurora store, and here is the kind of like, you can browse whatever browser or other, you know, extra things that you want to download. Yeah, so it's kind of like, what is it that you want in that regard? It's kind of like, hey, which one is more important to you? Let's see if we can get to the disadvantage for some of the Mudita apps is that it does not. I saw a question right there that does the Mudita have Play Protect? It does not. This is a de-Googled phone, which I highly recommend you take a look into Plexus. Plexus is an application that tells you what apps work and which ones do not on the Google phones. So you will not have access to certain banking apps, for example, because it does not have that capability. So here we go to Plexus. So here is Plexus. I will put this link on the chat so you guys can look into it. So essentially, this application is developed by Techlore, which is more of like a privacy website. And I think that that's, something kind of important to take into consideration. They're looking for privacy, right? And the two scores, there are two scores. So this one right here at the top, it's, for example, is does the game app work? So like, let's just put DuckDuckGo. That's a browser. And as you see, it has the de-Googled score and the Micro G score. Micro G is a utility that allows you to run apps simulating Google Play, but it doesn't have that. So, you can run maybe Pocket Cast here. Pocket Cast, there it is. So Pocket, the app for reading, does not work on this device for the Google scores. But if you install the Micro G, it works without issues. So they have a list of different things. Check it out. If you have a specific app that you want to make sure that it works for your purposes and the things that you need on the everyday. Tidal app on Mudita. Let's see. Tidal. Yep, Tidal works on both the Google score and also Micro G score. So yeah, contribute to this as well. And it's more privacy oriented. Something that is better. Okay. Let's see what else. Download any app. Yeah, so I mean, here are some of the apps that you can download. Some of them will not work. I believe Microsoft Teams does not work. Let me check. Teams. It works in silver mode, which is like it has a little bit of issues, so you can have the installation of Microsoft Teams. So we'll just test it right now. But you can install, kind of like your own store. You can use Aurora Store. You can use F-Droid. Some of those things in there. Again, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. We're approximating that area of around an hour, and I have about an hour and a little bit for this live stream. So make sure to get your question in there. Let's see if it installed. Teams, there it is. So there is Microsoft Teams, and as you see, it seems to be working fine. You can get the whatever it is right there. Yeah. So it opens and it doesn't crash. Yeah. So Hotspot, somebody's asking Hotspot. They all have it. Mudita has Hotspot. If you go to settings and Wi-Fi, Hotspot tethering, there it is. You have the ability to do that. Minimal Phone has Hotspot available as well. Here it is. Let's put the fast mode so that you guys can. I don't like operating the Minimal Phone on. Oh, that was fast mode. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's better. So where it is? Here maybe. Nope. Settings, Wi-Fi. Hotspot and tethering. There it is. So hotspot and tethering. And the light phone, which is a little bit different, has it right here on hotspot right there. 36%. Okay, that's fine. I'll note that for something later. So yeah, you can access hotspot, pretty easily and turn it on, turn it off, and kind of have all of the information right there. Mudita is the smaller one and the lighter of all three, right? So let's see. not smallest when it comes to like size, as in like tall, right? Not the smallest when it comes to the size of the device. About the same on thickness. So they're both pretty similar when it comes to the thickness of the devices. The Mudita is a little bit lighter than the Lightphone 3 by a minimum amount because it has a massive battery. Not massive, by smartphone standards, but by Dumbphone standards, it's like, let's see, Mudita compact battery, if I recall correctly, is 3,300 milliamp hour battery. So it's pretty much almost double the amount of the Lightphone 3. Which, you can feel it in the heft of the device, but I do like it. I like the polycarbonate of the Mudita. And of course, the Lightphone is a little bit more industrial, kind of like having, that kind of stuff. John, you're asking also for the F21 Pro. Yeah, that's no problem. I invite you here. Let me go to the Dumbphone Finder. So go to dumbphones.org. I'll put a link in there. And here, the link. Siob Han, we talked about signal and beeper and the look at the timestamp on the device. It was around 7 minutes. We started talking about that. So so again, go to the Dumbphone Finder, John, and you can just do this. Highly recommend that you do it on a desktop. So you go to Add Filter, you go to Hotspot Tethering, and you click yes. No, of course, you click yes. So right now the filters are North America and Hotspot Tethering, and pretty much every single phone that shows up here should have access to the hotspot. So there may be a mistake. I'm trying to look pretty quickly through all of these. So for example, technically they do have hotspot if you pick a version with hotspot, but not all of the versions have hotspot. But yeah, so all of these should have hotspot. And I keep this updated once a quarter. Tomorrow is actually the day that I update the database in case that there are, little different things or changes in my mind when it comes to the rating or that kind of stuff. So highly recommend that you go into the Dumbphone Finder and you take a look into the hotspot filter. And then you can also filter by, let's say WhatsApp. So if you want WhatsApp on your phone, and hotspot, right? So WhatsApp and hotspot. There it is. There it is. This is the list. And these are the kind of like functional devices that will have that capability. So go into the Dumbphone Finder, and you can see, some of those devices. You can also compare. Like, let's say that you found two that you like. Let's see, Lightphone 3, F21 Pro. Boom, right there. So it kind of gives you a little overview of like, okay, what are the main things that we kind of need to go over when it comes to like GPS, what it works, what doesn't, the cost, and all of that good stuff. So highly recommend that you look into the Dumbphone Finder as it will help you determine the best phone for you. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Let's see. Okay, so let's continue here. Mudita does seem better. Okay, let's just call this section Q&A. 53 minutes. Yes, we had a good, kind of like, give me a second. Let's go to the other one. 53 minutes, 25 minutes talking about Mudita Compact, etc., etc. Q&A time. So Q&A time. And we'll talk about, all of these different things. So Zepti or Shepti, no bank. Okay. So banking apps, it's hit or miss. It's going to depend on whether they need Google Play services. So let's go to the Plexus app. I highly recommend that you go to plexus.techlore.tech and you look at the banking app. So let's see, Bank of America, right? Bank of America does not work with degoogled unless you install micro G. AL Bank, I have no idea where that bank is from. It works, no issues on a degoogled phone, but it does not work on micro G, so it will work on the Mudita. But you have access to a browser, so technically you could say, oh, hey, like, that kind of stuff. So as you see, there's a list, Ally, Argenta, Banca Etica, Banca Móvil. Most of them do not work without the micro G plugin, but Bankso, Barclays, that seems to be it. DKB, FIO Bank. This is Czech Republic, if I'm not mistaken. First Direct. So apparently there are some banks that do work, but most of them will not without you kind of like going through the ringer of micro G. But again, you can use the browser to access your bank if you really need to. So so that's kind of like an idea on the minimal phones. So this one right here. So the minimal phone does have Google Play Protect, so you can install any here, let me put the text size a little bit larger. Oh, there it is. So the minimal phone does have the ability to do banking apps because it comes with Google Play services. So it shouldn't have any issues in that regard. Okay. Let's see. Not all browsers work through. Yeah, so it depends on kind of like the browser. Yeah, you need to test which one works, which one doesn't. All right. Okay. All right, let's see. A few questions, extra questions. What is the future of the Lightphone 3 and Spotify? My prediction is that the Lightphone 3 will eventually, I have 60 to 70% confidence that a Spotify tool will come. But I'm going to take this time. As always, I like to live maybe a more friction life. I recommend that you read this book. It's called Mood Machine by Liz Pelly. It is about the rise of Spotify and the costs of the perfect playlist, essentially streaming. And I recommend that you take a look into this book because it should give you an idea of how the music industry is being reshaped by one company, in this case, Spotify, and how it influences a lot of things in our world. And I think that it should help to maybe convince you that there are better ways to listen to music that do not require a streaming platform. Having said that, I do think there is a decent possibility. Let me go back here to the Dumbphone Finder. I want to show you the book resources tab. I have a few recommendations on this, but the thing that I wanted to say is most likely there will be a tool at some point in time. And yeah, I'm like 60, 70% confidence that there will be something. If you want to add your voice to this, if you want Spotify, I may not convince you to leave Spotify away. Lightphone request. So there's this website. This has been live for like a long time. And I'm going to add it to your list of links. A lot of links today. So this link tells you that there are people like you probably that want Spotify. There's 4,980. And if you want to vote for it, make sure to go vote for it. I did a long time ago just because I think, like this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of comments. So leave a comment. There's comments as early or as late as 23 days ago. I've just resigned from Apple One, waiting for my LP3. I'd love to carry only one device. iPhone 3 is about to be launched, and create a Spotify version for the iPhone is something that will hold listeners from all the world, yada, 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 that kind of stuff. I, again, think that you should quit Spotify. Don't give them your money and give artists your money. That's my personal feeling. But I definitely think that you should go vote for this idea if you think and if you want it. And I'm not going to convince you out of the that kind of like stuff. So iPhone 3, iPhone 2 could get Spotify. I'm 60-70% convinced that this is eventually going to happen. And I actually have more confidence for the beeper tool, probably around 75 to 90% pretty much, that it is probably going to be more doable, which will integrate WhatsApp, Signal, and all of those, that kind of stuff, right? Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Zepti, Google Maps. I think you're asking about these phones. So this one has Here Maps. This one cannot run Google Maps. And the minimal phone is the only one that, yes, it can run Google Maps. It actually comes with it, I believe. Here it is. Let me check. Yep. Looks a little wonky, but it actually performs really well. Here, let me go into my files. Desktop. Give me a second. Search. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll showcase to you how it works. This is, sorry for the shaking, I was driving. So yeah, this is how the GPS works on the minimal phone for GPS performance. And as you see, it's fine. You're able to kind of like go with the icons, change routes, and it redirects pretty easily, so everything works really well. Yeah, I mean, you're able to switch routes. You're able to, it just kind of like keeps following you. Turn-by-turn navigation, it speaks to you, etc., etc. So there are no issues whatsoever with the minimal phone and Google Maps. So if that's something that is something that you use, that's fine. And on the topic of Google Maps, I highly recommend that you don't use it and that you switch to something more like private, like street maps, open street maps, organic maps, some stuff like that. I think it's better, but yeah, I know I won't convince everybody, and that's okay. You can go get the device that works with your lifestyle, and I'm just happy that you're looking for something better for your everyday happenings instead of a smartphone. Next question is Dumbphone Finder question. It says, do any good ones on T-Mobile under $100? Good question. So let's go to Dumbphone Finder. Let's go to network provider. T-Mobile is the first one that comes up. We're going to sort by price. So here is by price. Some of these do work in the United States, but I don't recommend them. So TCL Flip 2 is my favorite device by and large. This device is amazing. It's an excellent device. If you can find it unlocked, I think it's going to cost you a little bit more. Let's go to Amazon. TCL Flip 2 unlocked. No, not the Go Flip 2. This one. Maybe Amazon TCL Flip 2 unlocked. Maybe on eBay. Here. So TCL Flip 2 on eBay. We have roughly about $74. It's more expensive than the $20 that it quotes here because this is the rate when it's locked, right? So it's going to be a little bit more expensive because they had to buy an unlock code after using it for a few days. So that's a recommendation, highly recommended. Let's switch to 4 stars at the very least. So let's go to Jose's ratings. Let's go to 4 stars. Here are 4-star devices, Fig Flip, Blue Joy, probably 3 stars. I'm going to switch this to 3 stars tomorrow. Mindful phone, they actually have a few updates coming up. I'll be doing an update on that. So these are kind of like 4-star. KS22 Flip, that's a great one. Maybe too smart for what you wanted, but it kind of depends on what it is. 5-star devices, Digno, let's sort them by price. So 5-star TCL Flip 2, Nokia 2780, LG Classic. This is a little bit more pricey, but I think it's worth it. And then you kind of have like this first row of devices is probably what you're looking, pricing wise in the $100 category. TCL Flip 2, Nokia 2780, LG Classic, the Barbie phone. Don't get the Barbie phone, get the Nokia 2780. It's the same device. This is just as a paint job. And the Xiaomi F21 Pro is another one that does work here in the United States by default, only with T-Mobile. If you want Verizon, you need to do a few extra, tinkering things. So check out the Dumbphone Finder, sort by price, and it will give you, the stuff that you are looking for. Okay, let's keep going. More questions. Let's see. The LP3 comes with NFC. What do you think it will be the first tool to use it? A wallet tool, most likely. That one I do not think is going to come this year. Just my confidence tells me that it will probably come early next year. That's probably what it is. Okay, let's see. Is this charged? I have the Sunbeam F1. I'll go for it. I'll charge it right now and get a little review going on, or like small comparison between the F1 Pro and the iPhone 3. Okay, let's see. What else? Boom, boom, boom. Spotify and the LP3, more refined music is really good to think about. Okay, minimal phone looks really enticing to me. Any issues that you have found with the minimal phone? Not since Joseph. Not since the update. The update has been pretty great. Everything is pretty snappy. Like it does what it needs to do. And yeah, I mean, like it opens up the. Oh, this one needs to. I just installed the update and power cycled through everything. Let's go to probably. I don't know. Notes, yeah. Oh, also, that one also needs. See, I hate that kind of stuff, like when it requires these extra things. So let's just go to Chrome. This is kind of like the Chrome functionality, right? And just kind of like looking into how it all works. But I haven't had any issues. I mean, RCS works, NFC works. All of the things that you want. This is a smartphone with e-ink, and there haven't been any major issues. The display, you can do the brightness stuff, go the warm setting, turn off, whatever it is that you want. You see it has a hue, and now it doesn't because, it's kind of cool and has some presets, for the evening. Whatever it is that you want to do, but everything works pretty fast. Refresh speed, yeah, I mean, it's still a device that needs a few refinements here and there. The keyboard now, the Alt key, you can lock the Alt key. You can lock. Here, let me show you that. Actually, that'll be the easiest way. So when you're typing, you can lock the Alt key. So as you see, it's locked. You can also Alt. Kind of like, what is it that you need right there? Adding some of the symbols automatically. And yeah, so like, again, it has good stuff is happening on the minimal phone. I just think it's going to need that continual refreshing. But we'll see. We'll see how it continues going. I haven't had any issues with it though. So yeah. Let me see. How much percentage does this have? 4%. Okay, once it has 20%, I'll bring it over. Okay. Let's continue. More questions. Any good Verizon compatible flip phones that run Android? Good question. Let's go over to the Dumbphone Finder. Dumbphone Finder. Verizon. Phone shape. Flip. Bam. There it is. So technically, Android, you said Android operating system. Android. Let's start with Android AOSP. So that is the TCL Flip 2, Sunbeam F1 Pro. All of these are running Android AOSP, but if you want the most capability to open it up, in essence, you want the most compatibility, the Kyocera Dura Extreme will be my personal choice. This phone has a lot of extensibility of the usage, and everything works extremely well. It's well built as well, and you have the ability to install different applications. That will be my number one recommendation. And following that will be the TCL Flip 2. It's a little bit more difficult, but it's also less expensive. So that will be definitely another recommendation. And if you follow, let's go to Dumbphones. F1 root guide. If you follow this guide, I will add the link to the thing, to the links back there. If you follow this guide that I just linked, you can also unlock the capabilities of the Sunbeam F1 family of devices, which are one of the top-notch devices in my opinion. And if you want to install extra applications to it, you can follow that guide. I don't know how much longer that is not going to get patched. So, you know, like the guide works right now. Let's just put it that way. And in the future, there's nothing promised. With Google, Android with Google, you have the TIC Mini M5. I do not recommend it. It actually does not have a rating for me because it's a terrible device. Or the Shock Classic, which I'm going to dock it to 3 stars because they're way better devices right now. So if you're looking for a flip phone for Verizon, those are the ones that work. Go check it out on the Dumbphone Finder. Okay. Off topic, but I've been using the Sleek phone for the past month. Yeah, Sleek. It's great. Sleek.io. So you have more life, less phone. They use some stuff like Pixel 7s and they modify the operating system so that it only works with certain applications, and I think can be a great thing. Also, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Talking about the Sleek phone, they sent me this letter today. I don't know if this is a joke. I think this is an April Fool's joke, most likely. But they sent me a letter saying, hey, due to considerable demand, we have decided to develop our own custom hardware. We decided to make our own hardware. We knew that it had to be minimal. The brick by Slick. And they actually sent a brick with it. I think this is an April Fool's joke since tomorrow is April Fool's. We want to give you early access to certified refurbished version of the brick and wanted to give your thoughts. We hope that you enjoy the brick and we're so excited to helping you do cool stuff in real life with it. So Sleek is a great company. I love Austin and Brandon. They're doing some amazing work. But yeah, I definitely think this is a prank. And I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? But yeah, their phone is great. You know, like they use, refurbished devices for trying to upcycle some of that stuff. And you can still do QR codes. You can still do beeper, email, as you see right there. And a few extra things, travel, whatever, that kind of stuff. They have some Perplexity users. It's carrier unlocked. And yeah, you kind of can go and check it out. I do have a review on this device. Here, let me link it to you guys on the other stuff, YouTube. And there are a few other reviews on the internet about this device. So yeah, go check them out. Yeah, I think it's a great phone. I think it's a good middle ground of kind of like what you want in a device, how does it work, eligibility criteria for their app store. And I think what they're developing is something that is, it's a little different, refurbishing devices, creating some stuff. And there's a few videos right there that you guys can check it out. You can, so, you kind of have that review. Oh, I do have an updated review. I forgot about that. That was my old review right there. And here is my new review. And there's other reviews from other content creators. I was talking with Spencer from Spencer's Adventures earlier today. Cool guy. And he's testing a few devices. He talks about, a lot of other topics, frugality, minimalism, that kind of stuff. Let's see. We're good. Okay, perfect. So let's bring back the Sunbeam F1. Here's the Sunbeam F1. And somebody wanted to see it with the light phone. So definitely different devices. When closed, is about the same size. And we'll get to that in just a second. Okay. Off topic. Oh yes, minimal phones should not be useless. I mean, time-consuming apps and color screen, okay, but tools that we need for every day. Bad idea. Why not make a phone like the S23 but with e-ink? Well, sometimes it's hard just to make a good hardware. So, that's the kind of stuff. Ali, what's the best maps app did you say? I'm trying not to use any Google Find if I can. Yes, absolutely. Here, let me go back to. So there are two apps that are probably at the top. First one is Organic Maps. So Organic Maps is built on OpenStreet, but it does have a few extra, customizations here and there that I think are, kind of like really good in my opinion. So Organic Maps is one of the best. It works offline. And the only thing is it doesn't have a lot of up-to-date information unless you personally contribute. So here is the contribute part. And you can join the OpenStreetMap community and contribute to the maps data. I highly, highly recommend that you do that. You will make the not using Google experience better. So that is one. And then the other one is Magic Earth app. So Magic Earth is a free maps and navigation app. They do use, again, OpenStreet data, but they also have a few extra things like crowdsourced traffic, 3D maps, satellite maps, transit, a little better integrations. And I think it's kind of like up to you to check it out, which one is better for your purposes, but both are great. Both are very, very good apps, and I think you will enjoy using them as long as you start, kind of like being like, okay, it's not going to have everything, but Magic Earth and Organic Maps are both excellent alternatives to Google, which goes into Jason's questions, why I don't like Google Maps. I think Google Maps is an excellent product when it comes to a convenience perspective, but I just don't like all the data that they collect and they advertise to you a lot. So if you go into any Google Maps instance, whenever you're around and you text or you look for a cafe, the one that is going to be showing up first is the one that paid money to be at the top of the search results. And so that is some of the stuff happening in there. I think I personally prefer to not use as many Google products as I can. That's just my personal preference, but I get it. Google is an amazing service, and it does all of these things, but I mean the amount of data that they're collecting, I'm just not comfortable with that. So that's kind of like why. Okay, more questions. How long is the battery life on the Light Phone 3? Good question. So Light Phone 3 has a battery life in my testing of about 2 to 3 days, depending on your usage. So, the phone, you can lower the brightness or go all the way up and use a lot more battery faster. But in my testing, I've been using it for about 2 weeks now, or a week and a half. Yeah, almost 2 weeks at this point. And yeah, every 2-3 days, it works. My maximum time has been the maximum battery lifetime is around 86 hours. So about a day, 86. So 3 days and a half. That's my maximum time testing. And yeah. So like, that's one of the things. Sunbeam F1 versus Lightphone. I think somebody asked that they would like to see it. Let's see. Somebody said like, hey, I would like to see the Sunbeam F1 versus Lightphone. So if you have a specific question, please let me know. Yeah, so battery life has been great. I did see that other users have kind of like looked into different battery life standards. I think one of them said that the battery life was not that great. But that has not been my experience. I think you have to also take into consideration that one of the biggest drawbacks for battery life is connection to a strong signal. So if you want to make sure that you have the best signal possible or the best carrier for your area, I highly recommend that you look into that. Yeah, so that is that. Okay. Andrew, hey, good to see you. Yeah, sure thing. Send me an updated keyboard after the live stream. I'll love to use it and get better. By the way, it has gotten a lot better. The keyboard experience, the sim, and getting the symbols, everything is top notch. Is doing pretty good. Yeah, like love that. Let's see. More questions. Jose, can I see MMS images in LP3? Yes, you can. So you go to the messages. Here, let me see who I have texted messages and images with. I think I tested with my mom. I sent her some stuff. Yes. So here it is. So you have a conversation with, whatever it is that you want to do. And you will receive an icon like that. But when you open it, it will have the availability of the picture right there. I can go to my test. Give me 1 second. Yes. So here it is. Give me a second. That's some extra stuff that I shouldn't show. So here is a picture that I received from my test phone. So you see dang it. Go back. And here is a video that I received from my test phone. And because it's compressed on the phone via the carrier, it's lesser quality. You also get a copy to your email on this. Let's see what else. Same with videos. Yeah. So as you saw right there, videos. One thing that I have not tested is GIFs, whichever way you pronounce it. Let me test that right now. Personal. There it is. Let me test a GIF. Let's see what happens. I have not tested this. Voice text messages do not work. So they just don't. They just don't send. And GIFs also do not work as of right now, apparently. So here it is. Supposed to play, but it doesn't play. Yeah. So the hard G, GIFs. Okay. GIFs. Or G. Which one's the hard G? G? A G. English. So GIFs, I guess. And yeah, so pictures, videos, no problem. GIFs and audio messages do not play. Yeah. Let's continue. Okay, we're getting towards the end. GIFs. So it's GIFs. Hard G, like as in guttural. That's how I think. I think in like language terms. I don't think in like how it sounds. So GIFs. Hard G GIFs. Right? GIFs. Okay. Let's continue. Let's see. We're getting towards the end. Anyone who pre-order received shipping info yet? I ordered 3 days after launch and no tracking. Fabian, highly recommend that you reach out to the minimal phone team. I'm sorry, the light phone team for your delivery. A lot of people have had it stuck in spam or, some email shenanigans. So highly recommend that you look into it. And like reach out to them. They may already have a tracking number for you. So I saw a person, I think that was way down the line in pre-orders and they already have it. So who knows, so highly recommend that you reach out to the support team at Lightphone. Whoever wanted to see the Sunbeam F1, if you have a specific question, please let me know because I don't know what you want to see. And I'll do a comparison eventually, but like if you want to see something specific. Anyone? Okay, so will you test the Hisense A9? I have already done that. Let me go to my video. I'll link it in the chat. YouTube. I am getting the Hisense High Brake. But yeah, so the Hisense A9 it's a great phone. I think it's great. I personally use it, so yeah. There you go. So check it out. I do have my ideas there, and there are other videos as well. So I think the Hisense A9 with Lineage OS will be very good. Let's see. Do you think in the future it will be possible for a minimal mini? Maybe. Possible. I mean, like I don't discount it, but I think right now they're just trying to get through the best of like optimizing the current device, and I think they had to deliver a lot of those devices. A lot more people have been getting their phone. A lot more people have been getting their phone, so that is great, good stuff. But it's gonna take a little bit of time as well in regards of like, okay, how is it going to daily drive and do all of those things and other optimizations. As you saw, Andrew is getting a new keyboard update, so I'm glad to test it in the next few days. Yeah, this is the quote unquote most powerful version of the Sunbeam. Great phone, I really think. Just a few extra things I hope that it comes with next time, which is the calendar syncing, and like a few extra utilities that I hope they become a reality soon. So let's see. I pre-order Mudita, Minimal, and thinking about Light Phone 3. Out of those three, which one is your daily driver? So right now, my daily driver is the Light Phone 3. That is my personal phone, and I have a work phone. And for that, right now, I'm kind of like back and forth between the Jelly Star, which is a mini smartphone for work, and the last of the iPhone minis. So I have a light phone, like mini here. Yeah. And I'm kind of like back and forth just due to different things at work. Sometimes we have a few things going on that require me to bring the iPhone just because of the better camera, and we're doing reels for the company organization. So it's just like, okay, it has to be like the real look. So instead of using like a massive camera, we use an iPhone because it has like the aesthetic, and whatever. So, but yeah, kind of like going back and forth between those utilities. Got it. Okay, cool. Let's see what else. But Light Phone 3 is my daily driver for a reason. Whenever I'm out of work, I just bring this one with me because I prefer to have something that works very simply. So, yeah. Last few questions, everyone. An hour and a half we're reaching in there. So make sure to type it if you want to get it in the last few minutes. Let's see. Tap. All right. If you want to pre-order the Lightphone 3, you're more than welcome to look it up out there. If you want to use my code, I would appreciate that, as it, provides some things for the channel. Like if you're already gonna buy it, if you want to get a kickback to the channel so that we can keep it with the resources and everything, I would appreciate it. And if not, that's okay. All right. Jorge says, have you heard of any new additions coming to the LP2? Yes. So they are revamping a lot of the functionality of the podcasting app, the music app, and a few extra other things here and there. So I'm really excited about that. The Lightphone 2 is just going to continue getting better and better. So that initial $299 investment years ago has been paying off completely. And one of the things that is actually improving the most is the GPS. So the GPS is going to be improved here in the year 2025. They're going to be releasing a firmware update that fixes a lot of the locking mechanisms and a few of the extra things. So it's going to be even a better investment for those of you who are looking for that, minimal device. Okay. Let's see. I just want to have a phone with full Android experience with all the apps I want, without AMOLED. So you're saying like you want to, minimal, I guess, that kind of like Hisense, Hisense A9, Hisense High Break Pro, the new one. I think those are good competitors for that space. Those are some of the things. I think there was an update here. Give me a second. There have been a few extra updates on the Sunbeam. Let me see. There it is. Yes, I need to download this one. They're continuing to upgrade a lot of the phones and, a lot of these things. Cat S22, is it a good option? I think it is. A few things to consider for the Cat S22 is... where is it? Aha, here it is. I will link this. Making your Cat S22 less of a burden. So High Break Pro, you're asking. So let me finish with this, and then I'll answer your question. Shepti or Zepti. Please tell me if I'm mispronouncing that. So the Cat S22 is a great phone, but there are a lot of customizations that you need to do. This one is probably the most important. So fixing the keyboard, the Kika keyboard that the phone comes with sucks. And, there's a lot of things that you can do, but old T9 or traditional T9 are great use cases. And you will be needing to debloat the phone, keeping media playback from colonizing notifications, disable notifications like the mini player. This guide is like very good introductory guide of how to make your Cat S22 a little bit better. And then I highly recommend that you look into a few extra things like making your Cat S22 flip better. There are a lot of results. A comprehensive guide for the Cat S22, repositories, stuff like that. Here it is. This is another one, Project S22. Perfect. Yeah, see, members from the community always giving back. That's one of the things that I love about the Dumbphone community. We try to give back as much as possible, and I really think that's really, really important. For me, it's just one of those things. So again, this is another guide that you can look into it to improve your experience with the Cat S22. And button tweaks, button binding, this kind of stuff. Go for it. Create some of these extra things. And look into the guides, look into some of these areas where it can be improved. The phone is not going to get any extra updates. Let's see, Cat S22. But still, you can find it at, for example, $63 here, unlocked, for different areas. You may have to pay a little bit more depending on your area, where you're at, refurbished, non-refurbished, all that good stuff. Highly recommended device. Is still at the top of my list, even though it can be frustrating to use. So that is something that you need to kind of consider. Look into what is available, what some of these things are kind of like working, and just customize it as much as possible. Upbeat, we covered that in the first part of the live stream. The side phone is the one that I'm following up right now. There are other projects that are not public yet. I can't talk about yet, but I do have it in my desk, and that's another one that I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, there are some projects that I'm following up. The side phone is the only public one. There's another one that I'm, hopefully I'll be able to share more details in the future. Okay, let's go back. What else? Highbrake Pro. Yes, you asked about the Highbrake Pro. So this is the updated, essentially the updated A9, if you will. So it's the Big Me Highbrake Pro. It is a pre-order right now. I've pre-ordered and I haven't gotten mine. It is a large phone, but it does come with all of the utilities and all of the things that you kind of want in life, the Play Store, and all of that. It is a little bit more of an expensive device for sure, but it has been getting glowing reviews on the web, and I'm happy to test it for myself, give it a run. It does have better compatibility here in the United States because of all the bands available. As you see, it has a bunch of bands available, including some of the 5G NR bands. It comes with Android 14, that kind of stuff. So check it out if it's something that you're looking into. But it's kind of like, okay, which one is for me, right? So it has NFC, fingerprint, all the stuff that smartphones have with the e-ink, kind of like stuff. So here's Highbrake Pro. I tested the Highbrake, I think the color version, that's the one I tested before. It was fine. It was great. Just, not as pixel dense and fast. The compatibility, all of that good stuff was kind of missing from the Highbrake color or black and white version that I tested. I don't recall which one it is that I tested, but I tested one of them. But this one has, cold and warm light, NFC, a lot of the things that people ask for it, and definitely more gigs of RAM and ROM for the device. Okay. Final question. Jose, I'm from El Salvador. What could be a good phone for me? Good question. I don't know much about El Salvador, as in like carriers. Probably you have Claro, which is, or Movistar, which are the telecom carriers. So this is what I do when I want to know something about a country. So main telecommunication carriers in El Salvador are Tigo, Claro, Movistar, and Digicel, all offering prepaid SIMs. So let's look into Wikipedia. Let's see if we can find something. Internet, telephone system, no. Telecom carriers, cell bands, wireless frequency. There we go. So frequency check. It says that mobile networks in El Salvador use, so Claro uses still some GSM, older GSM bands. So let's look into 850, 900, right? Like, UMTS is still alive. So bands B2, B5, B8, and both are UMTS and the LTE. And this was updated pretty recently. 2024, that's pretty good. Let's go to, let's try Digicel uses more frequency bands. That's good. So B8. Oh, but it doesn't. No, so it only uses one LTE band, which is B8. So B8 is the common one between Claro and Digicel, and then you have Movistar, which uses B2. Right. So B2, B5, B8. Okay. So now that we know this, B2, B5, B8, so we're going to look for the LTE versions that you can check compatibility. If you have a if you have a device that you're looking for, you can look by brand name here on frequency check, by the way. Let me go to the beginning here. I'll send it to the chat. And there you go. So then you look it up, right? So let's say in this case, you're trying to do, let's see if the MIV style folder is here. Nope. I think it's without the E. No, doesn't show up. Let's try Kyocera 903. That one's pretty popular. Nope, doesn't show up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need bands, as we recalled. We need bands B2, B5, and B8. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for Alt MIV style folder 2. For example, we're going to look for the listing in the here it is. Alt MIV style folder. That's the first one. Alt MIV style folder 2. Folder 2. Boom, there it is. Okay, it's a little bit expensive, but you know, it's full Android. Let's see if we can find some listings of the bands. So B2, B5, B8. Aha, bands. There you go. So the frequencies for the LTE bands available on the Alt MIV style folder 2, according to this listing, and you know, we can try to corroborate with something else, but according to this listing is LTE band 1, band 3, band 5, band 7, and band 8. So in this case, you have band 5 and 8 to kind of rely on to make sure that it works with your carrier. So we're going to go to frequency check again and see which, let's see, by country, El Salvador. And then we are going to find which one has B5 or B8 as their main band. So let's go to Tigo, and Tigo has B5. So it probably will work very well with Tigo. And then Movistar has B2 and B5, and they do use LTE B2. So you should not go with Movistar. And then Digicel uses B8, so it probably will work. Again, we have Tigo and Digicel, and then Claro uses B2. So it only works with two carriers, Digicel or Tigo, in your area. Now, the thing that you need to think about now is, okay, well, that's great, but which one actually works in my local region? So we're going to look into, and this is what I do when people ask me questions. And then I kind of corroborate with, so we're going to try. So we said that Digicel and Tigo are the ones that we're going to look into. So Tigo, El Salvador, coverage map. Mapa de cobertura Tigo. Perfect. So here it is. It's a small country, so probably, you know, I'll have some of these things. So here it tells you, hey, this is where it's kind of covered. Sadly, it doesn't have a map, but it gives you like, hey, in this, what's it called? State, in this state, I was going to say departamento because that's the word in Spanish, usually in most countries, or provincia, you know, depending on which one you're using. But here it tells you like, okay, it works in these communities, right? So that is what it is. Mapa de cobertura. Yeah, I don't see a actual thing. So go to frequency check, corroborate with your carrier in your area, and look into that information to corroborate, okay, does it work in my area? Does it work in here and there? Another helpful tool is Cell Mapper. It should work in most areas. let's here. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's go back. So here we go to El Salvador. This is crowd-funded, so not everything is, the way it should be. But like, yeah, for example, here we're going to type El Salvador, and we're going to Telemóvil. I think that's probably Tigo. And then boom, right there, it shows you which bands are available in your area for LTE, which are the main ones that are going to be used on the devices that you're going to get imported from, especially from other areas. So provider 4G LTE, 3G probably has more, or 2G. Still using 2G. No, and again, a lot of this stuff is crowdfunded, so you can only trust it so much. But yeah, here it is. I mean, bands 5, 4, some of them are used in your country from Telemóvil, but we're going to try Movistar. So Movistar, band 66, bands 2, those are definitely not going to be helpful to you. Bands 4, bands 2, also not helpful. And then we're going to go to Digicel. It has a little bit less coverage, it seems, but it kind of tells you like where are the locations where this uses some of the stuff. So look into mapping, look into frequency check, ask your local carrier, hey, like what towers are, in my area, and then go and import the device that you are looking for. So a lot of this information is important, but sometimes it's hard to look into. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. An hour and 45 minutes. Pretty good live stream today. A lot of questions answered. If you have any questions, if you're watching this afterward and you want your questions answered, make sure to put it in the comments below. I'll be interacting with you guys. I'm always happy to provide information as much as possible. And those are some of the things that can be helpful to you to use and, kind of like look into like the kind of stuff that you want. I'm looking forwards to a few devices that are coming my way. The MIV style folder 2, I'm going to be reviewing hopefully soon. I don't know why right now with the world and all the tariffs and all the shipping, I think it's just taking a little bit more time. But I have that one. I have the High Break Pro with the Big Me, and I also have the Sonim XP3 Plus 5G coming up. So those are 3 reviews that I'm going to probably develop sometime in the next month or so, and few comparisons. I'm going to be comparing the Light Phone 3 to the Sunbeam F1 and a few extra devices like the Minimal Phone, Mudita Kompakt, and like all of that good stuff. Like I just, I'm looking into it to develop and to get as much information out there as possible so that you guys can make the best decisions that you can. I hope it's helpful, and we'll see you in the next time.